Hello everybody and welcome back to Random Central. I'm Scone, here with you guys today with my July 2016 wrap-up. I read 5 books this month and I'm actually quite proud of myself considering how I had to go to California for my sister's wedding and I was at church camp. Almost forgot the name for a minute. Well, actually it's called Girls Camp because it's for girls only. Yeah, you get it. Let's move on. So the first book I read is one that I unfortunately do not have with me. I returned it to the library earlier this month, and that is To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. This just blew me away. It was so amazing. It is one of my new favorite books of all time, and one of the best books I've read this year and of all time, and yeah, anyway, to move on to why I like this book, and to what it's about, actually, and the author. I forgot to mention the author. Yeah, To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. It is about a girl named Scout Finch, and she is growing up in 1930s Macomb County, Alabama, and she's growing up with racism, and it's a coming-of-age novel about how she deals with how her town deals with racism, or I don't know how to explain it, but she's growing up with racist people because it was the 1930s and around the time of the Jim Crow laws. But yeah, it's just her perspective on those things and her awareness of morality and how not everything is black and white and there are a lot of gray areas in life. And the book also centers around her brother Jem, their father Atticus, and a black man who's supposedly a criminal, but you'll find out he's wrongly accused if you read the book. But yeah, he's a criminal, according to the town, Tom Robinson, and an outcast named Boo Radley. And yeah, I don't know how to explain it without excessively fangirling, so I'll just say it like this. It's about a girl growing up in Jim Crow era Alabama, and it is just so good. The way she matures over the novel, and I'm actually going to be reading it for English when school starts, so yeah, I'm kind of glad I got that out of the way, and it's a really good novel. I absolutely recommend it. 10 out of 10. Like 10 out of 5 stars. Just awesome. The second book I read this month was Burning Up by Caroline B. Cooney. This book is about a 15-year-old girl named Macy Claire, and she has a history project and she has to research something about her town. So she decides to research the fire that occurred at an abandoned barnyard near her house, if I remember correctly. But yeah, this book is by one of my top 5 favorite authors, Caroline B. Cooney, and I was not exactly disappointed, but it wasn't exactly like the best Caroline B. Cooney novel that I read. I mean, Wanted is an awesome novel, and so is Both Sides of Time. But anyway, moving on to Burning Up. So, this girl Macy is researching this old fire that happened like 40 years ago, and she uncovers some secrets about her family's past, and some of the secrets are potentially fatal, and some people are still kind of like burned up about it. Pun not intended, actually. Even though I am like the master of bad puns, that pun seriously was not intended. But yeah, this wasn't exactly the best Cooney novel I read, but certainly wasn't bad. I mean, some of the characters' thoughts were kind of unrealistic, like Macy's love interest, Austin. Some of the thoughts he was thinking, I was just like, Carolyn, really? Do you honestly think that a teenage boy would think something like that? Because I don't think so. Even if he's like 16, I don't think, like, yeah, I don't think he would be thinking such mature and deep thoughts, even at 16, 17. But aside from that, this book was an absolute thrill ride, and I believe on Goodreads I gave it 4.3 or 4.5 out of 5 stars. But yeah, to wrap up this review of this book, not the best Cooney novel that I read, certainly not the worst. Well, there are no worst, but yeah, not the best. Good thrill ride, and a really interesting concept. The third book that I read in July is Boys Are Dogs by Leslie Margolis. This is a book about a girl named Annabelle who is just starting middle school, and she went to an all-girls elementary school, so she is not used to going to school with boys, but she soon discovers that middle school boys act like dogs, and she also got a new puppy, and she has this puppy training book, and she's wondering one day if she could train boys like she trains her puppy. So she kind of tries out some tips in the training book, like bribe them with treats, be firm and direct in your commands, and stuff like that, and it was really funny. Not exactly like the best literature, but it was quite funny, and this book honestly had me laughing and cringing at some of the incidents, and just like, it was honestly really cute, and the concept is pretty cool. I mean, I know from experience that middle school boys are in fact dogs. They do in fact act like puppies. They're just a lot harder to train. Or train, I should say. But yeah, 4 out of 5 stars for this book. It was really funny. The fourth book that I read in July is Ancient Mathematicians by Rob Steger. This was actually quite an informative book. It's about ancient mathematicians. Of course, go me. Look at the title, see what it's about, especially when it comes to nonfiction. But yeah, I learned about a lot of cool mathematicians, including Euclid, Archimedes. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. I think it's Archimedes. Archimedes. I don't know. Comment down below if you know how to pronounce it and help me with this, or I just may annotate it somewhere with a phonetic pronunciation. But yeah. Anyway, this was very informative. However, not exactly my favorite. Maybe it's because it was a juvenile book, but this book was kind of what's the word? Intended. That's the word. This book was intended for a younger audience, so maybe that's why I didn't really enjoy it as much. But yeah, like 4.4 or 4.5 out of 5 stars. I need to check my Goodreads reviews before I do wrap-ups, but yeah, 4.5 out of 5 stars. This book was very informative, but not exactly the best that I read. I almost said the best that I wrote, but I didn't write this book because my name is definitely not Rob Steger. And the fifth and final book that I read in July is Censorship by Scott Barbo and other authors. This is a compilation of various articles and book excerpts on the subject of the controversial issue of censorship. This really broadened my opinion on censorship, as I have said in one of the Friday Reads videos, but yeah, this book was quite informative. I was a little bit disappointed by it, but not so much. I mean, it kind of like broadened my view, as I said, and kind of strengthened my opinions and my stance on this subject. And yeah, overall, 3.5 out of 5 stars. This was good, but not great. And that is the end of my July wrap-up, but this is not the end of the video. No, I still have an August TBR to film. However, what's coming up after this, of what I say after this, is my August TBR pick, because I actually made a TBR jar. I always wanted to make a TBR jar, and I finally did this time, and it has books, various like guidelines for books, like read a YA novel, stuff like that. But stay tuned for my TBR jar pick coming up later on today, because I'm uploading this sometime next week, because today is August the 1st as I am filming this, so this will not come out on the 1st. Yeah, I don't know how to explain it. I think you guys will get it. So yeah, let's move on to the TBR pick, and comment down below if you read any of these books and what you read in July. So yeah, let's tune in. guys may be wondering, why is she filming a TBR pick video when she doesn't even have all of her TBR settled? I actually do have most of my TBR settled. However, I won't be able to go to the library until later on this week, most likely on Saturday. And I don't know if I'm gonna get a specific book or like a book with just a guideline. So, yeah, that's why, because I won't be able to go to the library today. But yeah, I finally made a TBR jar, and I'm actually kind of proud of it considering how I didn't have any decorative tape. And yes, I actually drew those illustrations myself. Well, I looked up how to draw glasses, so that's how I got this so good. I don't really know how to draw that well, but yeah. Let's move on to the TBR pick for August. I'm so excited. It's my first time doing a TBR jar. Let's see. Oh, I got a book with a guideline. Wait, hold on. Let me get my fingers out of the way. Oh, there we go, somewhat. Read a YA novel. So, when I go to the library, I will have to pick up a YA novel along with the book I have on hold. So, yeah, that's gonna be fun. And you guys will see which book I pick for this guideline when I film the August TBR. So I'll see you guys later. It's here! It's here! It's here! My long-awaited August 2016 TBR. And my mom's playing music in the background, like in the other room, so don't mind her. And yeah, let's just get on with the TBR. So the first book that I will be reading is actually one that I'm, like, at the very most 10 pages from finishing, and that is The Hound of the Baskervilles by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. If it weren't for the fact that I still have, wait, hold on, 6 pages, exactly 6 pages to go, I would not be mentioning this in the TBR, but since it's not read yet, I'm still mentioning this, and I will talk more about this in the August wrap-up. But yeah, this is a Sherlock Holmes novel, and it is about a curse that is hung over the Baskerville family about a hound. And he and his friend, and when one of the baronets is, murdered. There we go, I couldn't think of the word for a second. Murdered. When Sir Charles is murdered, they have to solve his murder because a lot of people think it's the hound, but yeah, Sherlock Holmes and his colleague Dr. Watson are doubting whether or not a hound should exist, whether that supposed hound of the Baskervilles should exist at all, or if they're dealing with supernatural or the real world. But yeah, really, really awesome. 5 out of 5 stars, definitely. This is not my first exposure to the story. However, it is my first time reading the book, as I have seen the movie a gazillion times. The second book in my TBR is The Liars Club by Mary Carr. I'd like to apologize for this scratched up thing. I was trying to take the sticker off in the bookstore, and some of you guys can probably relate how incredibly difficult these stickers are, how difficult they are to take off. Yeah, I don't know much about this. All I know is that it's a memoir of the author, Mary Carr's apocalyptic childhood as described on the in the blurb. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I was mainly drawn to this by the title, The Liars Club. And plus, I think this photo is pretty cool. Wait. Yeah, there we go, there we go. Okay, we're actually not getting a glare on this, which is a first. Yay, score. The third book in my TBR is The Doom Machine by Mark Teague. I don't remember much about the blurb because it's been a while since I read it, and this has been on my shelf for, like, 1 or 2 years, but anyway, it's been on my shelf for a while and I really need to read it, and I'm finally going to, because this really sounds interesting. If I remember correctly, this book is about an alien species that basically looks like this. They're a spider type, arachnid type species, and they're really creepy to look at. But I believe it's about them trying to take over Earth, and only a few humans know about this, and this I'm assuming is one of the humans. But yeah, they're trying to obviously stop the aliens from taking over. And that's all I know. And this book looks really cool. Plus the cover. Just the cover is just so beautiful. The fourth book on my TBR is Took by A Ghost Story by Mary Downing Hahn. And you probably can hear the fan as well, because it's really hot here. But yeah, this is a ghost story involving witches. And Mary Downing Hahn is one of the best ghost story writers that I've ever read. Like literally, I first read one of her books in 4th grade, and it was The Old Willis Place, and it was really awesome. It's still one of my most favorite books of all time, even though I've only read it once, but it was still so good. Just so good. And last year, I read another one of her works, Wait Till Helen Comes. That was also a good one. This one, however, really attracted me because this book involves witches. Yeah, this book is about a witch named Old Auntie who takes a girl and keeps her for 50 years and keeps her as her slave, and every time a girl is taken, it's known as being took. And perfect grammar, Mary, but anyway. So then this family moves in to where Old Auntie lives, and she starts targeting the main character's sister, Erica. And yeah, really awesome. Plus, I just think that the cover, a lot of these books have really awesome covers for a change. Well, probably not for a change, since I like, the majority of the books I read, I like their covers, but yeah. This one, I mentioned the covers a lot, I realize. But I find that the hand on here is just so eerily creepy, like the child's hand. I just think that's so creepy and just so perfect. The fifth and final book on my TBR is the long-awaited TBR Jar pick for August 2016, this month, and that is All-American Girl by Meg Cabot. At least I think that's how you pronounce her last name, but I've heard it pronounced that way, so we'll just go with that. I also do not know much about this book, except that the main character here saved the president from an assassination attempt, and she's like this big hero in the US now, and she becomes a teen ambassador, or something like that, and the president's son falls in love with her. Yeah, that shows how much I know about this book. But yeah, it looks really cool, and the cover is so pretty. Like, this has to be in my, this is in my top 10 favorite covers of the year, definitely. Like, it's just so pretty and iridescent. I think that's the proper word, but either way, it's very iridescent and bright and all of that, and it's just looks so interesting. And also, I may be a bit weird in this, but I know a lot of people smell their books, so maybe I'm not, but I also just love the smell of this book. Just smells so inky and papery and booky. Wow, I'm such a good describer. And that is it for my August 2016 TBR. I am trying so hard to balance these on my head, and it's quite hard to balance 5 books on your head. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, both the wrap-up and the TBR. And yeah, I'll see you guys in another video. Bye!